A good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to round number 4 of the Formula Sim Racing 2020 Pro Championship. We're here in Portugal for the Portuguese Grand Prix at the Portugal International Track. My name is Felix van Delft. I will be your host for today, and next to me once again we've got Aidan Millward. Welcome, Aidan.
Yeah, it's great to be here again, commentating on FSR, 59 laps of Portugal. It's a track I'm not that familiar with. I'm familiar with it in other racing games, just not in rFactor 2. The layout is slightly different, but having watched the Academy race earlier today, then I'm sure we're going to get some decent racing here with the fast pit straight and that sort of shorter DRS zone you can see there on the map with the little kink. And should be a good one with the outbraking manoeuvres you can pull into turn 1 and turn 1, 2, 3, 4, but turn 6 or 7 as well, where it just opens up. It's going to be good.
Yeah, definitely, and of course it's a pretty short track. Lap time is in qualifying. We're going to see around 1 minute 5. I don't think we're going to see 1 minute 4s in qualifying just yet. Perhaps in the World Championship later today. But in Academy we saw 1 minute 5.8 being the pole position time. So you would think that the drivers in Pro would be a little bit quicker than that, but we're going to have to wait and see what they are able to do in qualifying there. But yeah, pretty short track, so we have a pretty long race as well, 59 laps. So a lot of opportunities for drivers, perhaps also some opportunities for different strategies to be taken, but we're gonna have to wait and see what they do about that. Let's first have a look at the car. Of course, the 2020 Formula Sim Racing car. Nothing changed since the start of the season. Still 967 brake horsepower, top speed of about 370 kph. We're not going to be seeing that here today in Portugal, but on other tracks. That's about the fastest that this car can go on the lowest downforce settings. Of course, it isn't that heavy, 743 kilograms and 2 boost modes. This has been proven to be a bit of a difficult thing for some people, just using a little bit too much of the qualifying boost mode, which uses the engine quite a lot more, which wears down the engine quite a lot more, and then obviously then also breaks down the engine earlier than planned for some people sometimes, and also in the race. So people have to be careful about using that too much in the race. However, let's jump into the qualifying session and see who is the quickest on track at the moment.
Well, nobody's completed a flying lap as of yet. I mean, Luke Maguire is just coming up through. I'm still learning the layout of this place. I was just coming into this hard braking zone where you sort of get on the power pretty early. That corner opens up. It's very, very, very tricky if you've seen Michi Hoyer's track guide for this place. And then they just come up to the top of this hill. A very tight right-hander. Still pretty quick. You gotta try not to take too much on the outside. You're going to end up in that yellow tyre wall. And then this is probably going to be where we're going to be seeing a lot of the dirty air come into play on this final right-hander. This is where Jacques Villeneuve attempted that very bold overtake on Michael Schumacher in 1996, which was something that was said that could never be done. Hopefully we'll get to see something like that today with the DRS coming into play. But the tyre wear through there is going to be pretty intense if they get stuck in that turbulent wake.
Yeah, first lap time's coming in now. 1 minute 5.5. Luke Maguire. Nice lap time from him. About 3 or 4 hundredths of a second behind that. Matthew Williams for now. It's Otsuk's about 1.1 tenths behind that. Championship leader Philip Kraus. We're looking at him now. He is looking good through the first couple of sectors. First sector is a bit slower than what Maguire was able to do. Second sector also a little bit slower than what Maguire was able to do. Let's see how he does in this final sector though. Coming on to the main straight to the finish line. What is it going to be for Kraus? It's a 1 minute 5.877, sixth place as of now. Of course, he's still got a few attempts left, but currently a bit further down than he would like, I would suppose.
I don't think he'll get extra style points for the way he finished that lap, but Zolt Schucks coming round. He was pretty much crawling round this is his out lap, but he was absolutely crawling through the first 4 or 5 corners. trying to ration the rubber, maybe even ration fuel. He might just be on the limit of how much fuel is available. As we saw in Academy qualifying, a driver ran out of fuel just yards from the finish line and lost about 0.3 of a second. Yeah,
indeed. So drivers have to be aggressive in some way, but also have to be careful not to be too aggressive. But Soltsux is about to start his flying lap now. Let's go on board with him here. Coming into this first corner. Like we said in Academy, there's a bump here, as you can see there a little bit, which can unsettle the car in braking. In qualifying, I think it's pretty manageable, but in the race, especially with worn tires, can be quite difficult. We saw some drivers in the Academy race also really struggling with that. Turn 4 here, left-hander, as you say, Aidan, opens up a little bit. You can use the DRS down this straight, little kink, all flat out, of course, then coming into this braking zone. First sector there for Tsux was decent. I think pretty much on point with what Maguire was able to do. Also personal improvement for Tsux there. Then this combination of hairpin style corners. Then a very fast right-hander here. Shifting down 1 gear on the power straight. Again then a bit of a chicane-ish style corner. And actually Tsux deciding to opt out of this lap. His second sector was decent, but I guess just made a bit of a mistake there in that final sector and decides to abort his lap.
I mean, what you don't see on the TV cameras as opposed to the onboard, how bumpy the exit of that turn, I think it's turn 7 is. Sort of mid-corner, you on those bumps as you're putting the power down, it's just like, if I get it, no, am I going to slide the back end? And it's really difficult to find out where that is. It's going to take a lot you're going to have to really understand your car and how well the grip is later in the race when you're trying to challenge for positions. Luke Maguire's coming around again. This is a time lap, I believe.
Yeah,
He's done 25.6 so far. Thankfully, we're avoiding that Mickey Mouse chicane in this layout for this race. It just hammers it through that right-hander and then nice and wide, swing it in. And then the final corner of the Parabolica. Hugging that inside line and then power out the other side, and as soon as you get DRS, open it up straight towards the line. So 19.5 in the middle sector. What's he going to do across the line? And it's pole.
Yeah, Ernst Lappens and Martin van Lozen were able to get on top of him for just a little while, but now Maguire strikes back and puts on a 1 minute 5.335, so getting closer and closer to that 4 minute mark. But still gaps very close to each other. The top 23 all within a second. The top 10 within 4/10 almost. Very, very tight here in this qualifying session for the Pro Championship. There is still about 2.5 minutes remaining. Most of the drivers have 1 attempt left in this qualifying session. Let's see what Ernst Lappens is able to do. He will be starting his final attempt in just a second. Lawrence Doherty in the meantime as well. Purple first sector for him. So let's keep an eye out somewhat for him as well.
And it's Lappin's second. I think this is starting his third time lap. There's a little bit of a chirp on the brakes going into turn 1. Just the slightest lock up on that right front. It doesn't, well, it shouldn't hurt him that much. Very tricky corner, that one. Never could get that one right in those older F1 games, and then carrying so much speed even through the slower corners. And then I'll be able to point out where those bumps are as he comes up to. I think it is turn 6. Depends if you count that kink or not. You can just see it there. You can just see that right front smoking again as it struggles for grip and overheats. But he seems to be okay so far. 25.7. He's only 0.067 off Maguire's pole time. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not gonna
F's
help
in
you.
chat for that one.
Yeah, end of his qualifying at least. So Lappins is not going to be on pole position, that's for sure. Martin van Lozenhoort was quick before he's about to exit the pit lane for his final attempt, if I'm mistaken. No, I think he's already made the mistake in his final attempt and aborted his lap. I don't think he has enough laps to do another. Limit of 9.
Lappins, Godek, Van Lozenhoort, Williams has got one more attempt. Sux has got one more attempt.
Williams,
that's pretty much it
right now. He's going up to P2. purple last sector, or 105.350, 15 thousandths of a second behind Maguire. But indeed, it was his final attempt. Maguire still has one to go. Doherty also still has one attempt left. He is on his outlap right now. Gerard Batala down in P10. He is on a flying lap at the moment. Let's see what he's able to do. Ooh, drifting through turn 6 there. That's not going to help him, and he abandons his final attempt then as well.
Yeah, we've got two Batalas on the grid, Gerard and Edouard. That's going to be confusing.
Yeah, the two brothers have been confusing us for quite a while now.
And they're not that far apart in their lap times either. So it's whatever you can do, I can do just as well.
And Doherty sliding into turn 1 there, goes a bit wide, touches the grass. Surely that's not going to help you. He gets already
He's still going.
He's going, but I think his first sector is definitely not going to help him.
Unless drifting gains you a tenth or two, I don't know.
Perhaps, I don't know. Maguire, in the meantime, is also improving on his personal time once again. Doherty, indeed, first sector, almost a second. 7/10 of a second slower than what most people were doing there, so I doubt he will be able to make up any of that in the next sectors. However, Maguire is not able to improve his lap time either. Spun into the gravel trap, but I think he is quite safe. Doherty is not going to be improving. Ivan Levenov also done. Kevin Morville crossing the line now. He'll be not moving up any spots, down in P19 for him. Jan Grankvist in 21st. Might be able to move himself up a spot or two. Over the line he comes, indeed, up to P15 he goes. And I think that's everybody done in this qualifying session. Great job by Luke Maguire. He will be starting from the pole position as we just get the qualifying results ready for you. Here we've got them. So, indeed, Luke Maguire with a 1 minute 5.3 starting from pole position. Matthew Williams very close, but just a little bit too far behind him. Starting in second, Ernest Lapins. Not able to really get a good lap in for him, but still very close to Maguire. P3 for him. Marek Godek P4. P5 Todd Soeks. All of this entire top 5 within a tenth. P6 Maarten van Lozenoord. P7 Lawrence Doherty. P8 Matthias Canapino. P9 Victor Ivanov. P10 Ivan Leonov. And then Gerard Batala and Eduard Batala starting outside of the top 10. So, great qualifying session, getting us hyped for the race so far. We're going to go for a short break. Mitchie Hoyer will take you through a lap here at the Portugal International Track. After that, we will go racing for 59 laps here in Portugal. We will be right back.
Welcome everyone, this is Formula Sim Racing. My name is Mitchie Hoyer and I welcome you to the track walk, the track presentation of round 3 for the Formula Sim Racing 2020 series. We are at the Brickyard. We are on the Indianapolis International Speedway and we are leaving the garage to hit pit road for our track presentation. We're racing on the Indianapolis Grand Prix circuit, which has been modified in 2014. And once again, pit road is pretty long, so drivers need to get this key element in their strategies, calculations, and just get it right. So the exit is very narrow here on the inside of turn 1 with a pit exit line before we go into turn 2. Short sprint up through 3 into 4, braking during turning. Don't want to go too wide as you need a good entry into 5 and 6. Another chicane, so the second chicane here already. Before we are on the back straight, second DRS zone, heavy braking into turn 7, a huge curb on the inside, you don't want to clip it. Another chicane, 8 and 9. Welcome everyone, this is Formula Sim Racing and my name is Mitchie Hoyer. I welcome you heartily to the track presentation for round 4 of the Formula Sim Racing World Championship 2020. We are sitting in the car, firing up the car, leaving the garage to hit pit road here at Estoril, the Portuguese track. Very bumpy surface, very bumpy track, so a lot of setup work needs to be done by the drivers to get the car ready for surfing on the bumps as we hit the track, leaving pit road on the inside here of turn 1. A short sprint up to turn 2, fairly average speed right-hander. Before we go into the first of 2 hairpins, going up the hill, rear end wants to come loosey here as we jump over the bumps and some uneven track parts. Out of turn 4 into the first DRS zone, kissing the curb in turn 5, and then a hard braking zone for turn 6, which is called the interior parabolica, as it opens up the hill over the bumps, and a short sprint up to turn 7, a late apex right-hander here, finishing the second sector already over the crest here in turn 8, 9 and 10, the S's, to feed ourselves into turn 11, which is the parabolica, and you need to get the power on so early, trying to not destroy the tyres, carrying all that speed, DRS wide open, and across the line to start our flying lap. Turn 1 best overtaking spot, hard on the brakes, and silly bumps there on the initial braking, so making the fronts lock up easy, so I need to be careful there. Turn 2 mid-average speed, right-hander, hard braking zone for turn 3, and then very important to get a good exit, get traction out of turn 3 into 4, and here you set up the car for the exit. Onto the back straight, DRS wide open. If you're close enough, you can have an attempt into this turn 6 coming up, as you have another hard braking zone, trying to stick it to the inside of the curb here. Acceleration out of turn 6 is tricky, as there is bumps, there's waves, there's everything that unsettles the car. Into turn 7 we go, slightly kissing the curb, late apex, full throttle up the hill, kissing the entry curb on the outside. Turn 8, don't understeer into the off track, set up the car for 10 through braking through turn 9, and then there is parabolica again. Be patient, and then floor it, go full throttle, kiss the exit curb, and then again DRS wide open. That is one flying lap around the Estoril circuit here in Portugal, and I am pretty sure you guys want to see the racing action into turn 1 and see how the drivers deal with a bumpy road surface. So tune in 1400, 1630 and 1900 GMT for ACA Pro and World Championship drivers battle for the win.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round number 4 of the Formula Sim Racing Pro Championship here in Portugal. We are getting ready to get racing for 59 laps about this Portugal international track. For those who've missed it, qualifying went quite well for Luke Maguire. He will be starting from pole position. I will be your host, by the way, today, Felix from Delft. And still next to me is Aidan Millward. Aidan, what do you think is going to be the strategy here for these drivers? Of course, the drivers have the choice of 3 tires, the soft, the medium and the hard. Everybody in the top 10 needs to start on the soft compound because they qualified on that. But outside of that, they still have the free choice, of course.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult one for this place because of how bumpy it is. The tyre's going to pick up a bit of wear into the braking, that long final corner, that first corner as well. I think that and those in dirty air, their front left is going to get absolutely shredded around here. So a soft hard for those who are right at the front and in plenty of clean air. For everybody else, I think it's just going to have to be a call it when you have to call it. You know, cross that bridge when you get to it, as we say here in England. But it's going to be a difficult one, I think. We're just going to have to wait and see what they pull off. Might see 2, might see just the 1. Who knows?
Yeah.
Find out.
Gonna have to wait and see what's going to happen there. Let's have a quick look again at the qualifying results. So indeed, Luke Maguire starting from that pole position. Williams next to him, then Lapins and Marek Godek on the second row. Todd Soeks and Van Lozenoord in the third row. All these guys very close to each other. Top 5 within a single tenth of a second. And then Matthias Canapino in 8th. Victor Ivanov in 9th. Ivan Leonov 10th. And the brothers Batala just outside of the top 10. But they will be allowed to start on different tires. So let's see how these brothers will be choosing their strategy. Then P13 is going to be Vlad Tokarev. Zhao Pitais P14th. Jean Grandvist in 15th. Christian Lazaro 16th. Pedro Delgado 17th. Philip Kraus, championship leader only in P18. Interesting to see that he's so far down. Roman Jakubovic in P19. Kevin Morville P20. Fabian Ruth P21. P22 John Bossica. Argenis Herrera in P23. Kieran Shanks P24. P25 Noah Rovers. P26 Hendrik Remates. Tom Lombert P27. Tom Oddermenger P28. Lucapella Lalu in P19. And Kostas Galanamatis starting from the pit lane because he didn't sign up in time. But you can see just about a second between this entire grid in qualifying. And really close, nice to see. Let's hope they can stick that close during this race as well, Aidan.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's always impressed me about FSR is how close the grid is in each championship. I mean, I raced yesterday in the race All-Star Battle race thing, and he got Stoffel Van Dorn and Esteban Gutierrez about 2 seconds faster than everybody else. So it was just like, okay, all right, I'll just go to lap for fun. But in this, the competition is so high across all 3 divisions. So just because you're in Academy or Pro doesn't mean you're not anywhere near as good as the World Championship guys. It's still a very, very close league, and that's why I enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. And if anybody watching is thinking, how can I sign myself up to get racing here? Just follow the links in the description. There should be a link to the forums where you can find all information under the 2020 season information tab on how to sign up. What the costs are for signing up, what the prizes are, but I'm guessing if you sign up in round 4 you're not going to be making any chance for prizes, especially because the main prizes are only in the World Championship. Of course, our sponsors 3D Lab and Sim Lab, 3D Rep and Sim Lab, giving us some nice prizes here in FSR for the World Championship drivers to fight for.
Yeah, esports really taking off at the minute, isn't it? So it's definitely a good time to get sponsorships. So thanks to 3D Rap and SimLab for helping to keep this place running. And as the formation lap comes to a close here, drivers will pull into their boxes soon as Lalu is in position. Or no, because Galen Martin is starting for the pit lane. So as soon as Lalu's in position, we will get racing. Are we going to get a Felix special with the camera for the start of this race? Yes, we are. Look at that.
Yeah, we're trying to get the lights in the shot because with the Academy it was a bit difficult. But yeah, all the drivers lining themselves up on the last grid slots now.
Who's that? That's really how to position. Is that one of the Netrex cars?
Yes, it is. I think it's Victor
Ivan Leonov.
Yeah. Interesting. But we're just waiting for the lights to come on.
That's one way of doing it. Trying to yeet his way up the inside, maybe.
Perhaps. Here we go. We've got 5 lights on, and we are racing. It's a bit of a slow start there for Luke Maguire, I believe. And yeah, indeed, Kostas Matthew Williams already up the inside. Luke Maguire trying to find his way up the inside down to turn 1. Marek Godek as well taking advantage of a slow start of Ernest Lapins. Maarten van Loosenoord already up to P4. Zolt Sux behind that, also not the best start for him, already battling with Lawrence Doherty. And Ivan Leonov indeed up to P7 right now. So far, good start, even though he didn't really get off the line well for Luke Maguire.
Yeah, at the back everything seems to be... Well, everybody seems to be running and nobody's taken a... Oh, actually, no, Argenis Riera's retired already. He's had an accident at the first corner. He was just beached in the gravel trap and couldn't get out, but... Kostas Galanamatis has been given clearance to leave the pit lane. He's in hot pursuit now of Fabian Ruth. But back up the front, Luke Maguire is enjoying a half a second lead to Matthew Williams. Marek Godek is the second in behind. So those two have absolutely bolted.
Yeah, Maguire already trying to make that gap, of course. First 3 laps don't have DRS. But still, slipstream is very strong in these cars. Ernest Lappens is going to try and stick with Maarten van Loozen. But of course, setup will make a difference here as well. We saw it in Indianapolis last round, where drivers were really able to gain on the straights. Yes, indeed, there Ernest Lappens already closing quite a lot on their braking to Maarten van Loozen there. Perhaps Maarten taking it a little bit careful in this first few laps.
Yeah, the Maguire, Matthew Williams still up ahead, and Marek Godek isn't going to be affected by the dirty air, but at the same time, Godek has got Loozenord now right up his back, so as soon as DRS is open, I can see Van Loozenord probably getting 3rd place by the end of all this.
Yeah, Godek, even though he had a good launch, will now have to defend from the HM engineering car behind him. And as of now, he doesn't have the connection to Williams in front of him. Maguire is also trying to extend that gap to Williams, of course. We have seen in the past that Maguire does have the raw pace. He can be really quick on a single lap, or even during a stint can be really quick. But at the end of the stint, we saw that his tire wear in the end often.
Lazaro's off.
Oh,
yeah, Lazaro's just been in the gravel just before the final corner. He's got a bit of a smoking engine. Hopefully, he can cool that down before that thing goes pop. But Tom Lombards as well, right down the back of the grid. So it must have been a coming together here. Noah Ruvers slowly making his way up the field, I think, but he's chasing down Pedro Delgado, coming to turns 2 and 3.
Yeah, John Bosnica also battling hard with a few drivers here. His teammate included, as somebody spins there in the background. That's Jan Grandqvist, I believe.
Yeah, it was Grandqvist. He's back on track. He's slotted in behind Fabian Ruth and in between. This is my game's updating the timing here. Yeah, it's slotted in between Fabian Ruth and Kostas Galanamatis. Apologies for butchering that one, Kostas. But Kostas actually, he's not done too badly considering he started from the pit lane. Kieran Shanks is out. Just DNF'd. I think there might have been a disco or something like that.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a replay in a second. However, I think Marek Godek is going to be on their attack here from Maarten van Loozenord. Not really defending.
That overspeed though.
Keeping the door open. Perhaps he knows that he won't really be able to challenge that, as Ernest Lappens almost goes into the rear of Marek Godek there into turn 1.
That was a great move. I don't think Godek wanted to battle it too much, because he knows that there's another DRS zone coming up within the next couple of corners, so he can probably have another chance of going back. But Loozenord's actually pulled out quite the gap already. So is Godek going backwards, rationing tyres maybe? Who knows?
Perhaps. I think Ernest Lappens is really eager to try and get past him, as he makes a bit of a mistake there, a bit of a wiggle on the rear. Manages to keep the car pointed in the right direction for now, though. Going to be looking to do the overtake soon, though. You can see.
I wouldn't do it there, though.
Yes, not the best spot. You would say it's going to be on the start-finish rate. I think Godek still has the DRS. Yes, he's already past the detection point now.
Yeah, Lappens was backing out through that final corner, just trying to save those front tyres. But has he backed out too much? Because Godek's got the DRS flap open. Lappens can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But that braking closing speed, though.
Yeah, between Maguire and Williams, still stable around half a second. Maguire not really able to pull out that big of a gap to Williams so far. But of course, it's still long. 55 laps to go.
Once Maguire's tyres start to die off, he goes backwards, so Williams is going to be catching up very, very soon, I feel.
Yeah, and of course the DRS will help him with that as well. Let's say that though, I think Williams dropped back there in the last few seconds. 1.2 seconds now, or maybe the timing is just a bit off.
I've got 0.9 showing on my screen.
Yeah, exactly. He's still close enough to get the DRS here out of the final corner. Perhaps even close enough to attempt something. The DRS will help him quite a lot, of course. No, it's a bit too far back.
Unless he gets something with his qualifying boost set him, but even then it's Do you really want to use your qualifying boost now and risk that wear on your engine?
Yeah.
As Godek and Lappin's still close together here.
Yeah, Lappin's just got passed on the start-finish straight. Now it's Sux is going to try and get past Godek. Godek really showing to not really have the pace at the moment. Or perhaps he's got a different strategy in mind than the other drivers. Perhaps he's on a one-stop, the rest on a two-stop. That's difficult to say from our perspective.
Or the car's set up to handle better during the latter stages of the race.
Yeah, perhaps.
Could be very understeery to start with, but when the fuel burns off, that thing becomes an absolute rocket ship.
Williams again out of the final corner.
He's caught up though this lap.
Yeah.
Taking 3/10 out of him. That's a good camera shot as well on that final corner. I like that. Let's see what the gap is across the line as Maguire's actually snaking up the start-finish straight to try and break that tone. Williams is caught right up. He has a bit of a sniff, but you'd have to be one very brave dive bombist to want to overtake there.
Yeah, I think that HM Engineering's got quite a good top speed as well. Which is not going to help Williams trying to get past him on the start-finish straight, of course. I think he really needs to be within maybe 3-4 tenths maximum to really be able to capitalize on that start-finish straight. So he needs to gain the time through this part of the track.
Yeah, we're in the second of the DRS zones here. There's that huge bump mid-corner. Then get the power down early. Try and power out the other side. You've got big rear tyres, so you've got plenty of traction in these cars. He's still a holding station there, sort of half a second behind Maguire. But let's see what happens in this final corner, because this is where the tyre wear is really going to come into play. Just got the front end of the car on that curb on the inside. Looked to have unsettled the car slightly. But it looks like Williams didn't bother backing out of that final corner. He wants that place. He's going to try and chase down Maguire and get into the lead.
And behind it as well, Lozenort and Lappin still battling with each other. Lappin's trying to hunt down Van Lozenort.
Top four's closed up again now as the rubber starts to burn off. Top four separated by just 1.7 seconds, so it's anybody's race at this point. Let's have a quick flick through the rest of the field. We've still only lost Kieran Shanks and Arginus Riera. Galen Amatis, who started from the pit lane in 30th, he's up to 24th. But we'll keep with this battle up towards the front as Maguire holds off Williams for potentially another lap. I think Williams is actually the closest he's ever been and might be able to make a move into turn one here. Went slightly wider on that last corner, probably to try and maximise the speed on the start-finish straight.
So
here we go.
You can see the closing speed massively. Is it going to be enough though? A bit too far back, but Maguire locks up slightly coming into turn one.
He locked both front wheels.
Yeah, that bump can be quite difficult to manage, especially if you're pushing hard on the limit. But this time it was stable enough for him to make the corner still. William can start to smell some blood now, I think, really closing in.
Second DRS zone here through the kink. Take a little bit of the curve just to shorten the line a bit. Hard on the brakes, trail braking, throw it in. There's the look back from Luke's car towards Matthew Williams. His mirror is going to be filled with white and orange right now. Driver's getting very close to that tyre wall on the exit of that quick right-hander. It's quite concerning.
I think he's really close again this time around.
Yeah, he's even closer now.
Surely Maguire leaves the door half open, but it's closed enough that Williams goes to the outside. It's going to be enough to late braking for Maguire. Manages to keep that position. Great
Good
defense.
defending.
Yeah.
No contact, no squeezing. Fair racing between these two, but this is bringing Van Lozenord in because of those two battling, taking the corner slightly to avoid hitting each other. He's going to go, I want some of this. So we're going to have Williams and Van Loozenord DRS into turn 6. But I think that DRS zone is a little bit too short to really gain anything from it.
Yeah, it's probably just helping them to keep up and gain a little bit of time, close down the gap a little bit to the car in front of him. This time, let's see what Williams is able to do through this final corner. It was really close last time around, but not able to make the move stick.
You've got to know how to attack the curbs here as well, because they're a little bit higher than other places we've been to this season. They really want to unsettle the car. But I think Loozenord's dropped back and now he's under attack from Ernest Lappins.
Yes, he is. But Lappin's not really able to get the move done. Just a bit too far back there in the braking zone.
Lap 11 already. See how far they can take these tyres. But are we going to end up getting into the stage where Matthew Williams has taken too much out of that left front?
And perhaps, of course, he's in that dirty air. However, Maguire, I think, is also going to be wearing these tyres quite a lot. At least that's what he's been doing in the previous races. We've always seen him pit slightly earlier than his competitors and perhaps not taking the most optimal strategy.
Was he on pole at Indy? I can't remember.
Yes, I believe he was.
Yeah, because Imola he crashed out.
Yep.
Indianapolis, he went backwards as his tyres went away.
Yeah.
Has he managed to figure out how to drive and save? Because this is looking a bit better for him.
Yeah, so far, but only, of course, only 12 laps done so far. I think we're gonna see this first stint.
Oh, Godek's in the pits.
Okay. I was gonna say at least to lap 15, maybe lap 20 even for some drivers. But Godek indeed, first driver in the pit lane.
White wall tyres. Which I believe are the mediums. I had a 50-50 chance of getting it right. So Ghost Speed taking an early one. Maybe they're going to try and run those deep. Put on some softs right at the end.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a gap, Godek, to the driver in front of him, about 4 seconds, so he can push these tyres for a bit.
Yeah, he's got Jan Grankvist in front on a set of used yellows, which is the mediums. Right?
Yes.
Yes, right. I'm learning. Good. Right, so he's on a set of used mediums, but can't get past Kevin Morville, who is on hards. So the other driller's car not having a happy time out there right now.
Yeah, this time around, Williams again close to Maguire, but not close enough. Really.
Shooks is also in the pits.
Alright.
Let's see if he follows what Godek has done. Yep. He has.
So I'm guessing those are on the strategy soft, medium, and then either another medium or another soft tire to the end of the race. So 2-stop strategy for them. Let's see what this top group is going to do. I think 1 stop might be possible, but it's not going to be easy. It's really close though. Maarten van Loozenord, Matthew Williams. Loozenord looking to the outside. Ernest Lappins is just watching these guys battle and trying to find an opportunity to get past van Loozenord by doing so. But of course, Maguire is going to gain from this.
Well, I just saw Marek Godek just bought the farm at turn 2, and he's taking a trip through the gravel trap at the next corner because he's lost his front wing and got absolutely no front end grip.
Ooh, that's not great. Line up a replay if Maguire. Yeah, Maguire into the pits, and so does van Loozenord. So the HME, HM Engineering cars going for a rather early pit stop, at least compared to the Driller Motorsports cars, Driller Esports cars for now.
Yeah, Luke's taken a set of the whites, and Edward Batalla comes in. Van Loozenord has gone onto an... he hasn't stopped. Okay, his pit box is right at the end of the pit lane. Okay, he's taken a set of the white wall tyres as well.
Right, we're looking at what happened to Marek Godek here. Coming into turn 2. Was it somebody rejoined?
Yeah, I think it was.
No, he actually spun on his own, it looks like.
Oh, he hit the curb, yeah.
He hit the curb and then into the wall. Well,
and then
that's not gonna help. Yeah.
That was what Lewis McGlade would call a boff, and he's still going round, I think. I don't think he has pulled out entirely, but we've also... no, Marek Godek accident. He's no longer in the race. Christian Lazaro have also lost, and we've lost Pedro Delgado and Tom Lombards as well.
Oh, Martin van Lozenoord hasn't had the best rejoin out of the pit. He's got quite a bit of traffic in front of him.
Fresher tyres, though, so he should be able to clear them.
Yeah, of course, but you wouldn't want this if you want to make an undercut work. Kevin Morville...
Oh, not there.
Yeah, he's not gonna leave the gap open there. And you can already see the gap between Van Lozenoord and Maguire is almost 6 seconds or something.
Got Doherty, Williams and Canapino in as well. Williams has taken a set of the yellows. So they didn't go very long on these, just between 11 and 14 laps.
Oh, this Netrex, who is that? Zot Soeks just overtook 2 cars on the start-finish straight. Wasn't really well covered on the cameras, couldn't really see it that well, but great move there by Zot Soeks, taking the opportunity. He has probably a bit more top speed than these 2 drivers and used it very well and got past Martin van Lozenoord there. Both of them have already pit, so Martin van Lozenoord really losing out here in his first pit stop stage of the race.
Yeah, Phil Kraus, your championship leader, he's in 9th right now, chasing down the back of João Batailles. I think Kraus has taken another set of tyres. Yeah, I think he has. And he's chasing down Batailles in the Burst Esports car.
I believe Kraus is actually still on the first hard set.
Oh, is he?
He started down in P18. He was quite far down on the qualifying.
All right, I should have expected him to be much higher than that, but some drivers are better suited to some tracks than others, as Ernest Lappins is now in, as is Gerard Bataille. And there goes Phil Kraus, DRS wide open. Bataille's not even bothering to fight. Straight down the inside, off he goes.
Let's have a look where Lappins is rejoining. Quite far down. Maguire really made that undercut work on Lappins. Williams still pretty close to Maguire, about a second behind him. But of course, those tires will be a bit fresher for them, and they have different, or at least Ernest Lappins has the medium tire, where Maguire has the hard.
Lost Jukka-Pekka Lalu as well. So they're starting to drop off now. We're down to 23 runners, starting from 30. As Edouard Batalla is chasing down Fabian Root in the esports, the Burst Esports car. Trying to get my words out today.
Yeah, Lappins now trying to get past Zot Soeks and perhaps Martin van Lozenoord as well. But Soeks really capitalized on this first pit stop phase. Technically, he would be in P4 right now. No, P3 actually. If you take into account that Maguire and Williams are the only ones that have pit in front of him as well. Maguire is under pressure from Williams now, though. Williams really closing in fast for the doors, firmly closed
that
there
was
by
close.
By
Maguire. Straight round the outside.
Is it gonna work though? Side by side coming into turn 2. The corner is gonna be for
Maguire. Inside for turn 2 though.
Still side by side coming into turn 3. Another right-hander.
Have they not touched?
Oh, they have.
Oh, Williams is through, and Maguire's gone for a bit of a drift, and he's managed to save it.
Yeah, he's managed to keep it pointed in the right direction there. Great way to save it there, Mike Maguire. Let's see if you can get a quick replay of that battle.
That was fantastic to watch. So here it is. We're on board with Maguire. This is on the start-finish straight. So there we go. Looking backwards at Matthew Williams. So Williams thinks, I'm going to try and shoot it down the inside, and Maguire reacts, but then sort of sold the dummy round the outside of turn 1. Maguire left plenty of space into turn 2, still leaving plenty of space. But as they come in towards turn 3, Maguire just gently taps the back of Williams' car, has a bit of a slide. But thankfully managed to keep it going, but I don't think those rear tyres would have liked that at all.
No, definitely not. Considering he's also on the harder compound, might be going to be a struggle for him in the later stages of this race. Of course, there's still 42 laps to go. This pack at the front is also still very close. Roman Jakubovic, Jan Woznica, Philip Kraus, João Batailles, all really close to each other. Matthew Williams now, of course, in the lead of the race, is about 4 seconds behind these drivers.
Well, currently, Viktor Ivanov is leading this race. Tokarev and Roman Yakubovic, so I don't think they'll be there for very long. Once they've made their stops, they'll drop back down the order, so it's a provisional top 3 there. Jan Vosnica, 4th, and Phil Kraus is up to 5th. But Phil Kraus will be able to take probably a faster tyre towards the end, while everybody else is going to be on a harder tyre, or maybe even have to stop again and take a softer tyre and try and claw their way back. So, not over yet, but Phil Kraus is probably on for a decent result here.
Yeah, I think we definitely don't have to count him out of the race. Of course, he won in Imola, partially due to a mistake by Maguire, but he won in Imola outside of the top 10 by doing a different strategy, which was a great result from him. Perhaps he might be able to do it once again here in Portugal.
Let's see where everybody else is. Matthew Williams is currently in 7th. Luke Maguire's actually lost that to Ernest Lappin, so Maguire's starting to slide down the field, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps that tire, that little spin on the rear, hurt his tires already too much. You can see that little snap there as well. He's gonna have to be quite careful now on those tires.
Yeah, Zolt Sux is looking pretty racy, and behind him, and Martin van Luzenoord as well, who's been at the pointy end of the field since I've been commentating on these races. So I think Maguire's going to be under attack very, very soon. As Viktor Ivanov joins the pit lane, Vlad Tokarev goes around again, as does Yakubovic.
Yeah, let's see what Ivanov is going to be able to do. Of course, he started on those soft tires. He's I think the last driver to pit of the soft runners, and he goes to a set of hard tires as well.
Looks like the hard tyre is the one to be on right now. That's Kevin Morville in the pit lane. He's on the hards. Away he goes.
Yeah, I'm really starting to think perhaps those drivers that pitted in the later stages, like Ivanov just now, might be able to go to the end on this set of tires, and I'm pretty sure that at least the drillers car of Williams and Lapins, they won't be able to get to the end on one set of mediums. I think Maguire won't be able to do it on hards as well, because we saw him in the previous races not able to get such long stints done even on the hard tires. I think all those guys are still on another stop, but few drivers that haven't stopped yet so far might be able to get to the end on just a single stop.
Yeah, Maguire's probably going to have to make another stop. As this is Williams overtaking the Burst Esports car of Chad Bataillez. That was one of the easiest overtakes you'll ever make. Look at that gap he's pulled already. He's now chasing down Jan Vosnica, his teammate.
Yeah.
Will there be some team orders at play here?
You would assume so. At least you would assume Jan Vosnica to defend really hard to Williams here.
Ooh.
No,
he's moved over.
Yeah, he's moved over indeed.
Lapin's also on Bataillez. That was a brave move down the inside. What a move that was.
Yeah, great stuff. Bataillez, of course, knows as well this is not the battle that he's fighting. He fights this too hard and he's just going to lose time to the actual people that he's fighting with.
It's weird seeing Burst Esports drivers this far down the grid, considering this is the team with Michi Hoyer and Jene Simoncic as well. So, yeah, it's a shock to the system, as I think that's Bataillez just diving down the pit lane now.
Yeah, Burst Esports have been really competitive in the World Championship, of course, both first and second in the constructors there. But in the lower categories, they haven't really been able to get the results that they have in the World Championship. So perhaps the drivers just not really able to get on point. Perhaps setups are slightly different in the lower categories. Maybe the top guys aren't sharing the actual World Championship setup. It's difficult for me to say, of course, what it's happening in a team there.
Yeah, it's I'm more familiar with setting up GT3s and things like that, as I think that was Vosnica just letting Lapins go through.
Yeah.
So Vosnica knows where he should be in the field, and there's no point in holding up his teammates who are much faster than him. Not saying that he's slow, by the way. It's just he's slower than them.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I think right. I've got out of that one.
Yeah. Phil Kraus is picking up the pace a little bit for himself. At least personal best for him last lap. And this time around the same lap time. So he's still got good pace in his tires. Even though they are 23 laps off. Jan Bosnica is also getting overtaken by Maguire. He's not being so kind to him as he's been to his teammates, of course. Trying to defend Maguire off. And Tot Soeks, Martin van Loosner right behind that as well. Closing into the
that's a trolley train if ever there was one.
Maguire now also having to watch out for Tot Soeks behind him. Tot Soeks trying to find a way past him as well.
Jan, it's James. But yeah, Luke Maguire wants... Luke Maguire's going to try and launch it into turn 6. No, but Zolt Soeks, Lewis and Nord and Lorenz Doherty all wanting to get past. Because they are drivers that should be at the pointy end of the grid. But Jan Vosika really helping Matthew Williams and Ernest Lappins out right now.
Yeah, Vosika really proving to be a team player here. And I think Luke Maguire doesn't really like that too much. He's lost quite a bit of time now already to that lead group of Williams, Lappins and... well, that's the two.
Still not able to get by. Oh, he's having a think about it. Oh, that's close. But he's through.
Yeah, of course he has the grip advantage on the tires. Able to get it done there into turn 1.
Oh, Lozenord's lost out.
3 wide almost. Lozenord and his teammate, Glory Doherty.
That was almost Coulthard and Hakkinen taking each other out, but that's... I don't think that they're having the same team orders thing that they're doing over at Drillers. They just let them go at it. I don't think Lozenord's going to be very happy at that. As Zolt Soeks has a go at Vosika. Going to go around the outside. That's a good move.
Yeah,
fantastic stuff.
To make it stick there. Now it's Martin van Lozenord's turn.
Not there though. Oh, he's almost inside his diffuser. Oh, he's lost it.
Exit curb there. Lost the grip, hits the cones. I think no damage getting... didn't get any damage from that, but he definitely lost the position.
Now there's cones on the track as Phil Kraus finally makes his way into the pit lane, as does Vosnika.
Right, the only driver that haven't pit yet is our Tokarev and Roman Jakubovic. Still pretty close to each other though.
Yeah, those tyres have done 24 laps now. Vosnika is going to come out sort of around 16th, 17th, 18th. He's just leaving the pits now. He's down to 20th, but he'll get out in front of Jan Grankvist. So Vosnika right down the order right now.
Yeah, he's got a set of medium tyres as well. 35 laps on the mediums, I guess. Might be possible. He did 25 on the hards, did he? 225 on the hards?
Something like that, yeah.
So, I don't know then.
He's got fresher rubber than everybody else around him, so Remitz, Batala, maybe even Bataya should be easy pickings for him as he immediately goes around the outside of Remitz. Remitz just lets him go. I think he realises that the fresh rubber distance, delta, difference, that's the word, difference. It's almost like English is my second language rather than yours, Felix, today. But Jakubovic is out.
Jakubovic is out. What happened there? Let's see if I can get a replay.
Well, he's missing a front left wheel. So here we go. Whereas this is the final corner.
Yeah.
Does he drop it on the curb? No. I think this might be a turn. He's on the grass. That's different. You can't turn with no wheels, mate.
Yeah, that's something that you want to avoid, I guess, hitting the grass on the straight. Yeah, well, that's the end of his race at least. They're going to come back.
Oh, who was the Toro Rosso driver that happened to? Where the wheels
Buemi?
just...
I think it was
Buemi, where the wheels just went into orbit and he still tried to turn the wheel. But I guess it's instinct, isn't it? So this is Phil Kraus, right at the back end of one of the Burst Esports cars. Sends it up the inside of turn 6. And that's 11th place for Phil.
Yeah, great job, but interesting. He's on another set of hard tires. Not sure if you already mentioned it before, but he has to do another stop then. Of course, every driver,
Soft
every
tyres
car
at the end then.
they have to do at least 2 different compounds, and he started on the hards, and he's on the hards right now. So, indeed, like you say, I'm guessing it's gonna be a splash and dash. Well, it's not gonna be any fuel added, but just get some fresh rubber and do some really quick laps at the end.
Burning rubber, maybe.
Yeah.
You can, yeah. We'll think of
like
something. He's now just put one on. Who was that? He just put one on. I'm trying to read the Noah Rovers.
Yeah, flying past them left, right, and center.
So that's the top 10.
Of course, he's championship leader Vlad Tokarev, only driver that hasn't pit yet. It's not entirely true. Noah Rovers and Tom Onnemenger also haven't pit yet.
Matthew Williams will take the lead soon, I think.
Yeah.
Faster tyres, fresher rubber. As they come through the final corner here. Just trying not to overcook that left front. So if they get too hot, you just lose all the grip. DRS is now open. Look at that closing speed. And there we go, Williams into the lead.
Yep. A bit of driving, of course, Tokarev knows that it's no point really defending that. And
Well, Lappins will be next.
Yeah.
So we'll have a Drillers 1-2 as it stands. Yeah, Lappins will probably have it into the... Oh, that's a bit of a wobble. That's not going to help. DRS open. Because he's a bit closer, you'll probably get the benefits of it. And then down the inside, there we go.
Yeah, straightforward move there into P2. And we'll now be looking to extend the gap even more. Maguire is 4 or 5 seconds behind them. Really, Maguire not having the best phase in the first pit stops. The best experience in the first pit stop phase here. But of course, he's on a different set of tires. He might be able to go longer on this set. And Williams and Lappins have to pit earlier. That's what we would expect.
We've just about hit half distance now. So your top 10 is Williams, Lappins, Tokarev, Maguire, Schucks, Doherty, Van Loosenoord, Leonov, Ivanov. I had to read that twice to make sure they were the right way around. Right way round. And then Phil Krause in 10th. Phil Krause is actually 5 seconds behind Ivanov right now. And then down the bottom end of the field, we've lost Jakubovic, Lalu, Lazaro, Godek, Delgado, Lombards, Shanks, and Riera to various reasons. So we're now on board with Gerard Batalla, who is right at the back end of Oldenmenger.
That's still inside the points, of course. Trying to find his way up to a little bit more of them. Oldenmenger still proving to defend from him. I think both of them are on relatively fresh hard tires, as well as Noah Rovers in front of them. That's actually not true. Noah Rovers hasn't pitted yet. Tom Onnemenger hasn't pitted yet. So I correct myself there. Gerard Batalla is on fresher tires, 13 laps old hards, but Onnemenger and Rovers are on 29, 30 lap old hard.
Yeah, I'm just looking back at the other end of the field. It looks like Schucks is getting much closer to Maguire.
Yes, I think he is.
That is a lot closer than they've been.
Yeah, Maguire,
So Maguire's not really liking these harder tyres, is he?
Yeah, it's only 16 laps into this stint. He did 13 on the softs. You would expect him to be able to at least go a little bit further before dropping pace that much.
And this is what I like about rFactor 2. You can actually see the wear on Schucks' front tyres. So the more worn they get, the more blistered they look. So you can sort of get an idea of how much abuse they've been getting. But he's still able to throw it into that right-hander. Maguire taking a slightly different line into that final corner as well, sort of going slightly outwards and then chucking it inwards as that's Tokarev entering the pit lane now.
Yeah.
So a freebie for Maguire, but Schucks still wants that third place from him.
Indeed. Just crossed the halfway mark of this race as well. Let's have a quick look at how the standings would look if we were to take the take the results final as of this moment in the race. Of course, that's not the case, but there is still some reference to be taken, of course. So here we see that right now Phil Krause, of course, would still be leading the championship, even though he is down in P9 at the moment. 74 points for him. Maguire closing that gap then a little bit, as he would have 59 points. And Matthew Williams closing in quite a bit as well, as he would have 54 points now if he wins this race in the end.
Still a lot to play for then, as we are watching Martin van Lozennoord chasing down his teammate Lorenz Doherty. You would think that HME would say to Doherty, just move over, let him through, try and maximise the points a bit more. But it doesn't look like they're playing that game today. Well, actually, Van Lozennoord, look at the closing speed, even though Doherty's got DRS as well. Oh, that's a huge lock-up. Well, there you go. That's one way of getting the position back. Yeah. Make it look like an accident.
Indeed, massive lock-up on the front tyre. That's not going to help him as well. Probably a big flat spot on that tyre as well. He's not going to like that.
Aldermenger's into the pit lane finally, so he's going to drop back down the field. So what tyres he takes. Oh, Gallen and Martis as well. So Aldermenger's gone onto the mediums. Comes out the pit lane just in front of Gallen and Martis. He'd got up to 19th, despite starting from the pit lane. He's going to get rid of his mediums, maybe, and goes on to a set of the hards.
Aldermenger joining right in front of Remates there. And still has quite a bit of free air in front of him as well. So Tsuks now still close to Maguire, coming out of the final corner once again. I think it's a bit too far back now to make a move.
He's going to try, though.
He's closing in quite a lot, of course, with the DRS and the slipstream. Perhaps if he can keep this close throughout this first sector, might be able to do something in the second DRS zone. Front Williams and Lapin still about a second between each other. Those are, I think they are just managing their pace right now, making sure Maguire isn't catching up, and perhaps at the end of the race they might fight between each other for the win of this race. I'm not sure how that is going to be settled between them. If there's going to be some sort of team orders to say at least don't fight too hard. But I'm sure both of them will want to take this race win. Neither of them have had a race win here in the FSR Championships, any championship, so I'm sure they're both eager to take it here today.
Well, I mean, this battle between Maguire and Schucks has allowed Van Lozennoord to come back towards them. It's just half a second between Schucks and Van Lozennoord, but the issue is Van Lozennoord will get DRS, but so will Schucks. He's going to attempt to move on Maguire and sends it into the first corner. That's put... Oh, he's coming back, though. That's a better exit for Maguire. But Schucks shuts the door. And it's still going on, though, as Maguire looking any which way back to take that third place. But that's a very messy turn 3 there. But here comes Van Lozennoord, going to be in the DRS zone for this little short run towards turn 6. Both of them have got it. Van Lozennoord has a look, but there's nothing there. So now Maguire has got to look in his mirrors for the HM engine. It was actually the sister car. Look behind him to make sure that Van Lozennoord doesn't take more points away from him.
Yeah, I think Maguire wasn't really expecting the move there from Tsuks. Normally he was always defending the inside coming into turn 1, but this time he left the door wide open, and Tsuks took full advantage of that. Late braking for the corner there. Almost didn't make the corner, but managed to get the car turned just enough.
Williams in the pits.
Yep, indeed. So second phase of pit stops coming for the Drillers cars. This is going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. Maguire, we've seen him already lose quite a lot of pace on his hards. So is he going to be stopping soon as well?
You'd think
that Williams is on another set of hards.
Yeah.
On mediums. Because he did. Now he did 20 laps on the mediums. You would think at least kind of possible to do 25 on a much lower weighing car. Of course, there's lot less fuel in that car as of now as it would have been at the start of this race.
Yeah, it's definitely. He's used all 3 compounds this race.
Yeah.
So it's. You might as well complete the set while you're here, and
Exactly.
so that's promoted Sux into 2nd place, but Van Lozenoord's still right all over the back of Luke Maguire as they come out onto the start-finish straight. Just check the gaps. It's half a second between Sux and Maguire, so Maguire's going to have DRS. So is Van Lozenoord. Maguire's sort of getting that help, that DRS, not just to attack Sux, but also to defend. So he's getting a double whammy out of this. Misses the apex of turn 2 though. It's not going to help. But he's suffering the dirty hours. A little bit of a lock up there into turn 3. And turn 4. Sliding around. He really does not like these harder compound tyres. We'll call that turn 5. It's not really a turn. And then turn 6. Still able to carry a decent amount of speed into the first part of that corner, but I think he's struggling on the exit. And there's Van Lozenoord behind. Still looking every which way to get past. But it's as you were, as Ernest Lappins currently leads this race by 4 seconds.
Yeah, he's not coming to the pits this time around. So he's staying out a bit longer than his teammate Williams. I think he did so too in the first stop. That actually true? Yeah, he stayed out 1 lap longer then, so he's staying out 1 lap longer so far as well. Perhaps coming in this lap, perhaps next lap. I would expect him to come in soon though.
Lorenz Doherty's also in the pit lane, taking another fresh set of boots. But here's your 3-way battle for 2nd place. Maguire's still getting that DRS to help defend from Van Lozenoord. But the closer you are to the guy ahead, the better advantage you get in the secondary DRS zone. It's the start-finish straight where you're going to get the most help. It's kind of like the DRS zone at the Azure circuit, which is where we're going next. Actually, that's going to be a lot of fun. Where the DRS zone is, it's pretty much for show. Doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, next race is going to be absolutely incredible. I'm pretty sure of it in all the 3 classes.
Maguire in.
Yeah, Maguire into the pits. So indeed, even though he's got that harder compound on the car, wasn't really able to go much longer. And his Lappins on the softer compound able to go further than him on a hard compound. And he's going to be dropping back to, I would expect at least behind Williams. Yes, indeed, behind Williams. Behind Woznica now as well. Woznica is still somebody that I think might be able to pull off a 1-stop. Did 24 laps on the hards. Still needs to do 22 laps on the medium. I don't know.
He might come in for a set of softs near the end just to try and set some fast laps and catch up and overtake.
Maguire now in 10th. Got some free air in front of him. Tokarev is about 2.5 seconds in front of him. Lozenoord has now the free space to try and catch up to Sux. Perhaps he's able to stay out a bit longer now. Or maybe he's coming in this time as well. I believe Sux is. Yes, Sux is. Heartbreaking for that pit lane. Used to get the car stopped in time, of course. Doesn't really matter if you lock up the tires in the last few meters that they do.
Yeah, you've only got to handle the flat spots coming through your wheel for about 400 meters or so. And another good lock-up when he pulls into the pit lane or the pit box for good measure. And away he goes.
Yeah, for him as well, instead of hard tires. Interesting to see.
Going to the end then.
Yeah, for sure.
20 laps remaining.
We're joining right next to Van Lozenoord, that is. Was that Doherty?
They almost made contact there.
Doherty, actually, yeah. Very close on the rejoin there, but just behind Lawrence Doherty, who stopped just 2 laps before and able to do a fastest lap of the race. 1 minute 8.6. Fuchs is now, of course, wanting to try and get past him. I think this Networks car has got quite a lot of top speed compared to Doherty. The fastest Doherty has ever gone through the speed trap here, 327 kilometers an hour. It's fastest that Salt Fuchs has been able to. Well, 335.1 kilometers an hour. Of course, we don't know if DRS had a play in Doherty's time, but I would expect that he has at least had DRS once throughout this race.
Well, Lappins has just come in for a fresh set of rubber as well. He's come out in 7th position.
And he is on the medium tires. So Lappins not opting to take the softs, which I think he might have been able to do. He did 15 laps on the softs at the start of this race. Now with a lower fuel tank might be able to do 20, but I guess he's taking the safe route and takes the medium tires to the end of this race. Of course, his teammate Williams is now 2 seconds ahead of him on the hard compound, so better grip on this tires. Expect him to be able to catch up.
It's been a lot more difficult to call the strategy at this race compared to how it was at Imola and Indianapolis, but it's still interesting to see nonetheless as Lappins does his outlap. Just get the heat into the tyres, get the pressures up, get a feel for the car on the outlap, and then just settle into the groove and get on with it as Lozenord's now in the pit lane.
And Matthew Williams overtakes him there, of course. Jan Bosnica still hasn't pit as well for his final time. I guess we are going to see him pit in the last 15 laps probably from Lozenord.
Mediums.
Yeah, he does go on to the mediums. Contrary to his teammate Maguire.
As Doherty has put one on Sucks into turn 1.
So those guys are still battling as well. Sucks actually dropped down quite far.
He must have got nerfed at some point.
Yeah,
pushed onto the grass maybe. If we could get a replay of that, we could see what happened.
I'm going to have a quick look at what happened during their battle. He's on board with Doherty. You can see behind him, Sucks gone, went around the outside. Who actually manages to get in front before the corner, but I think he got bumped wide there a little bit.
There we go.
Perhaps a bit too aggressive from Doherty there. But race stewards will look at that after the race if there's any protest made by the teams.
Bit of a wobble there from Doherty on the exit as now Van Lozenord is up the back of Gerard Batalla. This should be an easy one, you would think.
Yeah.
And it is. Way before the corner. Softer compound, DRS. Maybe turn the wick up slightly, but he's through.
Yeah, good move for him. Back up to P11. Now Ivan Leonov. Philip Kraus still has to pit for sure. Victor Ivanov, not sure. Matthew Williams, and of course also doesn't have to pit. Those top 3 is a big question mark for, or at least Ivan Leonov and Victor Ivanov. Those two still could stop, but they don't have to if they are able to somehow stretch this stint further to the end of the race. Still 18 laps, of course. And they might be able to get a good points position finish here.
So Ivan Leonov's leading, which when he pits, that lead will disintegrate. But Phil Kraus has managed to get his way up to 2nd from 18th. So a decent result for Phil still on the cards. He might finish probably 5th or 6th by the end of all this, but still a great recovery drive from him. But we're still looking at the Matthew Williams, Ernest Lappins, and Martin van Lozenord's put one on Jean Pitayas now into turn 1. Again getting it done before the corner.
Yeah, again, Pitayas doesn't really have any motivation to battle this. Doesn't really have any logic to. Of course, he's in his own battle. Van Lozenord now will be trying to catch up to Zsolt Sucks and his teammate Lawrence Doherty. Maguire in front of that still as well, who has been catching up to Vlad Tokarev now. Tokarev, I believe, was one of the last drivers to do a pit stop. Yes, he's right now on 12 lap old medium, so I'm Guessing he's gonna go to the end for sure on this set of tires. 17 laps to go, so would be able to do 30 laps of driving on this medium tire.
Well, 17 laps left to run. This time by as Luke Maguire's chasing down the back of Vlad Tokarev, and there we go. That's another easy move into turn 1. So his next target will be Ernest Lappins, and I don't think Lappins is going to let him by as easily. If and when he gets there. So, just looking at the gap, Ernest Lappins... Yeah, so it's about 4 seconds between the two of them. Maguire probably could get there, but it's going to take a lot. We've seen him struggle on these harder compound tyres compared to the softs where he's just rapid.
Yeah,
but he just needs to come back or figure out how to drive on them.
Just having a quick look at their pace. Lappins last 3 laps, 109.0, 18.8, and 192. And Maguire did 195, 195, and 192. So consistently quite a few tenths slower than Lappins even. So if he really wants to catch up to him, he's gonna really have to step up the pace. This last few laps he did 109.0, so that's good. But last lap for Lappins was also a tenth quicker than what Maguire was able to do.
Yeah, the gap's down to 3.2 seconds, or 3.3 seconds, I should say. So it's going to hover around there. It would take... I think he's going to have to rely on the drop-off of those medium... Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong driver. Lappins is on medium, so he's going to have to rely on the drop-off of those mediums to start to get anywhere close to him.
Yeah, definitely. Sooks and Doherty are still at it. By the way, Sooks might be able to get past him this time.
Well, he's got past him now because he's gone into the shadow realm.
I guess he did. Yeah, well, he's gone.
He's out, yeah. Oh, there he is.
No, that's Van Lozenoord.
Oh, it's Van Lozenoord. Ah, you got my hopes up. Oh, no. Yep, Lorenz Doherty. He's disappeared.
Yeah. Probably an internet disconnection as Zot Sooks spun in the final corner there. It's a wonder that he didn't get collected by Van Lozenoord. Let's get a replay of that by on board with Zot Sooks. It was a massive sideways moment for him. Yeah,
Lorenz Doherty's like appearing and disappearing over and over again. He's actually dropped down to 12th as a result of all this. I think he might just have to hit escape, and this is what happened to me in VLMC. Oh no, he's back. He's in 7th now. I think it's sorted itself. And this is the replay.
No, this is him getting past Doherty, I believe. I was looking for a different replay. Let's go on board with Van Lozenoord. No, we don't have the replay, I think. Do we? No, unfortunately not.
No, he spun. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that impressive. You're not missed anything. Right, we've covered that one. Yeah, so Lorenz Doherty has now got Martin Van Lozenoord. Now, with his internet issues that we've just seen over the last lap,
Kraus in the pits, by the way, yeah.
Will Doherty just let him go? You don't want them to take each other off. As Kraus has gone onto the softs.
Yeah.
Which is what I thought he would do towards the end.
Where does he drop back to, though?
8th. 9th.
Yeah, so behind Leonov.
10th.
Peter Ice is going to be close as well, I think, on the exit. No, he's in front of him pretty easily. So he's definitely going to be the quickest on track now, I think. Leonov is also on similar strategy. He's also on just a lap old soft tires. So those two will be plowing through the field now, I think. Zot Sooks being their first target.
We've only actually got 3 drivers on the soft tyres for this final phase of the race, which is different to what we expected at the start.
Yeah. Always interesting to see those different strategies working out and perhaps not working out in the end.
Well, that's why they're down there and we're up here.
Exactly. Alright, so Phil Kraus already purple middle sector, the first middle sector that he did on these fresh soft tires, 2/10 quicker than what Leonov even was able to do there. And comparing to Tsux, he was only almost half a second quicker than Tsux, just in one sector. Now this next lap is gonna be the one that counts for Philip Kraus.
So Kraus he's too far away. Well, actually, he might get the DRS activation because of his faster tyres. He might be able to catch up, and he's going to annihilate the fastest lap for this race on these tyres.
Yeah, I would expect him to do so. First sector purple, 26.4.
Oh, Doherty's lagged out again.
Still some internet problems for him then. It's a free position then for Phil Kraus as well. To P9. Definitely not a bad place for him to be, considering he started from P18. Now second sector also purple. Let's see what he's able to do in this final sector to set the purple lap here. Fastest lap of the race so far. It's going to be
Doherty lagged his way into one epic accident.
That's unfortunate. Phil Kraus indeed 107.7. That is 2 seconds quicker than Matthew Williams last lap. Almost, about 1.5 seconds quicker than Maguire.
But the closer he gets to the car in front, the more those tyres are going to get eaten away. So it's a give and take situation for him right now.
Van Loozenhoort is now trying to find his way past Vlad Tokarev, who has not stopped yet for a second time, and I think he might not be doing so. But still making life a bit difficult for Van Loozenhoort at the moment.
Once they get onto the start-finish straight, he's going to be straight past him. Oh, he took a lot out of that right-hander. But the track cuts are rather forgiving, if I remember rightly here.
Yeah, I think, that's not going to help Van Loozenhoort there. Bit of oversteer, manages to keep it pointed in the right direction, catch the slide, but now it's too far away, I think, to make a move happen, unless he can.
Yeah, that slide didn't help.
Yeah, like you say about the track cuts, I think they're already naturally quite harsh. As to if you cut these curbs too much, you just end up in grass or gravel, which you want to avoid anyway.
The curves here are pretty lethal. It's another slide from Van Loozenhoort out of turn 4.
Yeah, his rear tire is already starting to perhaps heat up a bit too much. Phil Kraus and Ivan Leonov both already got past Tsux. Now next point of interest for them is Maarten van Loozenhoort. He's still a bit up the road for them, about 4 seconds for Ivan Leonov. And of course Kraus also really close to Leonov. Van Loozenhoort this time around is close enough to make the move into turn 1 on Vlad Tokarev.
The gap is just over a second between Leonov and Kraus right now. But Matthew Williams still looking quite solid out front. 2.5 seconds to Ernest Lappens, who's probably going to act as a rear gunner for him from Ivanov and Maguire.
Yeah, Ivanov, I'm guessing there's no point for him to pit now. He's still in a relatively comfortable position. But of course, his tires are really going to be dropping off in the later stage of this race.
There's only 9 laps remaining,
yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
Don't expect him to pit now. He's still got a very good result for him on the charts if he can get these tires to the end.
I don't think Kraus is going to do much better than 7th, to be honest.
Yeah, perhaps 6th. I think they will be able to get Vlad, because he's dropping back quite quickly as well.
And Maguire into 4th, or 3rd, I should say.
Yeah, simple, straightforward move. Also, Ivanov knows that if he defends too hard from this, his tires are going to wear off even more. Just takes the overtake, and he's happy with 4th now, I guess. Of course, he has to still watch out for Van Loozenhoort coming behind him.
Well, Kraus is caught right up to the back of Ivan Leonov right now, so expect a move. Probably not in this DRS zone because of Leonov also having DRS here, but definitely out of the final corner where he's just going to have so much grip. But then again, they're both on soft tyres compared to the mediums on Tokarev, so
exactly. I think it's,
they both should make the position up here.
I think it's maybe a bit smarter for Kraus to wait for Leonov to get past this guy in front of him, or at least give him a chance, instead of fighting Leonov directly now, because they are on similar strategy. They have the same pace, roughly. If they battle with each other too hard now, then they just lose out to any driver in front or behind them.
But look how much Kraus lost out in the dirty air just there in that final corner.
It's an easy move for Leonov though there.
It was almost just go through. Oof! Phil Kraus just gave Tokarev a bit of a boff into turn 1.
Oh, okay, that's not going to help his...
I mean, no damage. It was just like a bit of a love tap, but it was very, very close between the two of them. He's, yeah, that car is a lot quicker than the one in front.
DRS now, of course, for Kraus, but I think as well still for Tokarev, actually. No DRS for Tokarev, so Kraus goes for a move up the inside here. And again, up to P7 for him, and now he will be starting to really hunt down Leonov and try to get past him, I would expect. Van Loozenhoort still in front of them, not too far, about 2 seconds in front of Leonov. And there's still 7 laps to go, so I think they might be able to catch up to him. Van Loozenhoort last lap was about half a second slower than Leonov, and that was with the overtake for Leonov. So I think the fight is not over for Van Loozenhoort, or at least for Leonov and Phil Kraus to get past him. But of course Van Loozenhoort in his turn is also starting to line up an overtake on Viktor Ivanov.
Kraus is only just outside of DRS. I think this, relative to the leader, Leonov 9.840, Kraus 10.896, so like 500ths out. But he's catching right up now, coming up towards the second DRS zone, so it's getting closer and closer and closer. You could take 6 here.
There we go from Loozenhoort again. Ivanov knows defending not really a point to. Gonna lose more time that you can't gain back anymore. Ivanov now is the next guy. He is only 1.8 seconds behind him now. I think Leonov or Ivanov could. It's a bit too long on those tires to really make it work, but still, he qualified outside of the top 10 and is right now driving in 5th place. Maybe he's dropping down to 6th or 7th, but that's definitely still a good result for him. Ivan Leonov is going to have to watch out for Kraus now coming into turn 1. Kraus up the inside.
That's late braking if ever there was some.
Bit of a lock-up coming into turn 1, but manages to make the move stick. A great late lunge there for Phil Kraus.
That was like an RKO out of nowhere. He was just like, I'm having this position, I don't care anymore. Right, it's mine now. And off he goes. I mean, he's still got just over a second and a bit to Viktor Ivanov, so my guess of him not getting much better than 7th is going out the window right now. Yeah,
and of course Van Loozenhoort is not too far in front of Ivanov as well. And there's still 5 laps to go. I think Kraus might be able to get Leonov or Ivanov. This is so confusing, these two. I think he might be able to get Ivanov on the start-finish here already. Yeah, surely. Out of this last corner, if he gets a good run. Pretty straightforward move.
The DRS detection points, or DRS activation points, quite a long way down this straight. It's there where that thing was just sticking out of the ground. Oh, there we go. Ivanov had DRS as well, but Kraus,
he's good on the
just
brakes,
a much better run, and then through he goes. Now, what's going to happen when he gets to Loozenhoort? Will Loozenhoort move out of the way for him?
I don't know. Of course, Loozenhoort is as much entitled to getting 4th place as him. But Kraus, of course, championship leader, so you would expect the team to at least want to get as many points as possible for him. But he's quite comfortable in the lead still, I believe, so we'll have a look at the championship standings after the race.
I don't. We've also lost Kostas Galanamatis. His engine's blown up, so they probably overused the qualifying trim here. But Lozenord looking backwards towards his teammate of Phil Kraus. Kraus on softer compound tyres, fresher tyres as well, although they do drop off a little bit quicker. Is Lozenord just going to let him by into turn 1?
Yeah, he's not defending.
Yeah.
Kraus up to P4. Now, the gap to Maguire is still 5 seconds. I'm guessing that's a bit too much to do in 3 laps. So
yeah.
I'm guessing this is going to be the finishing position for Kraus. If he manages to get to the end of the race without doing any mistakes anymore, of course. And let's not curse him too much. Matthew Williams, though, he's still comfortably in the lead. Anders Lappins 1.5 seconds behind him, not really able to get close enough to do any moves on Williams for the lead of this race.
Williams hasn't really looked back since he took the lead, has he? He's just gone on and controlled it. I mean, Lappins is closing in, but I don't think it's going to be too little too late for him.
Yeah, Maguire in his turn is also not really catching up. He's also losing a bit of time to Lappins last lap. Phil Kraus, of course, he gained about 6 tenths, but that's still not enough to close down the gap in the next 2 laps. Ivan Leonov is going to try and get past Van Lozenord, though. He's, of course, also on that soft tire.
Yeah, Lappins is really closing. He's closed in another couple of tenths on that last lap. But I think Williams is just cruising. He knows there's only 2 laps left. Might as well just bring the car home, not do anything too stupid, but maintain the gap. Oh, Lappins down to 0.9 of a second.
Interesting. Perhaps Lappins...
Lappins is on softer tyres, though.
True. But perhaps Lappins has been saving up a little bit of his qualifying boost to use here in the final lap, as the final lap is running now.
Yeah, he's getting
very really close. Half a second now. Lappins, if he's going to try and do this strategy, might have been a little bit too late. If he did it a lap before, he might have been able to do it in the start-finish straight. Because now he's going to have to do it here after turn 6 or turn 5. A bit of a wiggle there. It's not going to be easy. He's going to try and use everything he's got to close the gap. Braking now. Yeah, surely he's too far behind.
There'll be a drag race to the line.
Last couple of corners coming up now for Williams. He's very close to getting his first win here in the Formula Sim Racing Pro Championship. Lappins, however, is going to try and take it away from him. Last corner coming up now. I think it's going to be
Williams has got
enough
it
for Williams, yeah. Out of the final corner, he
Quali
comes.
boost up to the line.
Lappins is going to try and get it before the line, but it's not enough. Matthew Williams takes victory here in Portugal.
That was almost Hoyer and Simoncic, wasn't it?
It was very, very close over the line there. Only just taking victory in front of Ernest Lappins there. Luke Maguire, even though he started from pole position, not able to take the win here and finishing down in 3rd place. Still on the podium, of course. Then Phil Kraus, championship leader, did a very good race, considering he started down in P18 and finishes in 4th. Now, Ivan Leonov, I think also a great job from him. P5 for him, Velozenord, P6. Ivanov, also a decent race in P7. Started outside of the top 10 as well. Soltsuks P8. Vlad Tokarev P9 and Jan Woznica finishing in the top 10 still. Last finisher in the top 10, I should say. Zhao Pitayas P11, Jan Kranqvist P12, Noah Rovers P13, Tom Oldemenger in P14, and last point finisher is Matthias Canapino. Great race we had here.
It's fantastic. Very, very close all the way to the end. I think there was just 1/10 of a second between Williams and Lappins over the line, but Maguire 2.7 back Phil Kraus, I missed him jump up into 4th, actually. He was only 6.5 back, but the top 6 covered by 10 seconds, so not bad all round.
Yeah, definitely. Let's have a look then at how the driver standings would look like right now. Of course, post-race incident checks are still to be done by the race director, so there might be some changes here. But Phil Kraus will be still leading this championship by quite a big margin to Luke Maguire. 82 points for Kraus and 59 for Maguire, and Matthew Williams in 3rd after taking them in here with 54 points. And then again quite a big gap to Van Lozenoort in 4th, and Noah Rovers in 5th, Leonov in 6th, and Ariel Frosland in 7th. That's all pretty close, with Ernest Lappins in 8th now after finishing 2nd. And then 3 drivers with 20 points: Jordan Weeks, who wasn't here today, Roman Jakubovic and Luca Pella-Lalu. And then Soltsuks 12th in the championship for now. But of course there's still quite a few races to go. And we've got, of course, coming up later in about 1 hour's time, the World Championship, which is going to be very exciting as well. You will be returning for that as well, if I'm not mistaken, Aidan.
Yes, I'll double check with Cam and see if he still wants me. But yeah, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, sure. So
the cream of the crop in FSR racing.
Yeah, absolutely.
See what happens between. We've got Petr Brilak, Yerny Semoncic, Michi Hoyer, Jeroen Kwekel. It's going to be fantastic. So come back at 18:40 GMT, which is I don't know what that is in Central European time.
Just under an hour. Just under an hour.
Just under an hour. Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be exciting. And of course, next race, going to be the Azure Grand Prix, which is going to be very exciting. Very narrow street track. I'm sure we might not have as many finishers as we've had here today, even though we've already had quite a lot of DNS today. But it's going to be the 17th of May, so that's 3 weeks away from now. So make sure you tune in for that as well. But first, of course, the World Championship coming up in just under an hour's time. Make sure to be back for that. Until then, please take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Aidan, for joining me here in the commentary booth. And thanks to all the drivers for giving us some nice action. Bye-bye.